Woo! Yes. Oh man, I have. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, here we go. I apologize. I moved it, and I am live, ready to rock and roll. Uh, I've got a great show planned, even though I'm running slightly late. I don't know if you can see it. I actually have steaming hot coffee. I went ahead and grabbed it. Um, since I've had issues before with the show going live, drop me a comment. Let me know if I am ready to go on YouTube. I've had this problem before. Um, let's see here. According to YouTube, there is some action going on here, um, but if you don't mind, drop me a comment. That way I know that everything is good. I'm looking over here at YouTube, and it looks like I got some people here. Um, I want to apologize for not being on time. Until I get a comment, I'm going to ramble a little bit here. I just want to make sure that you guys are seeing everything. On a personal note, I'm doing something I've never really tried before. I'm trying to put on about 15 pounds of muscle. Yeah, I cut myself shaving right before the show. I'm trying to put, all right, James, Tim, all right, good to go. I guess I can quit talking. Oh, man, James, this was a huge win. And matter of fact, let's just start off talking about the Lions here, man. I'm going to tell you what I heard, and I haven't had a chance to watch this game yet, but here's what I heard. Two big things about the Lions. Number one, they went a lot of zone, which they haven't done in the past. They tried running this complex man scheme, which I really hated because you're trying to use Jeff Okuda as a man corner, and he's your number one man corner. And I thought that was a huge mistake. So I heard that what they did against Arizona is they went zone. They had a couple turnovers, which I thought was really good. And then I thought that was smart if that's the case. But the number one reason I think they won is because they had some really good time management, which is something they haven't had in the past. These are two big things I've hated about Matt Patricia. He was inflexible in his defensive scheme. He's not using his personnel right, and his clock management is absolutely terrible. And both things he fixed with Arizona. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the problems are solved with the Detroit Lions, but if he can do these two things, Detroit's a team to worry about because clock management killed them last year. So yeah. So if they can get those things worked out and get those things right, I don't think the Lions are a playoff team, but can they get around 500? Can Patricia keep his job? Yes, but it's yeah, man, it's going to be kind of tough. But I love what they're doing. I hope they do it next week against the Saints. I think they're going to do it next week against the Saints. If so, I would be honest. I think Saints are going to win that game, but it's they could give them a challenge. I think Saints are on the ropes, and so it'll be interesting to see what they do. All right, life is a gamble, Pete. Hopefully you don't mind I use your name. Sorry. Favorite running backs this weekend? That's actually a really good one. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I actually kind of like Melvin Gordon. I think that the Broncos are going to rely heavily on him. I think he could have a really good game this week. So that would be one just because he's going to play tomorrow. Trying to think off the top of my head who other running backs could be good. Man, if you don't mind, let me get back to you on that because I haven't had a chance to break down all the games as of yet. But I will say this: I really I really think that I just forgot his name here, man. I'm already failing here. I'm having a bomb. I was just literally talking Melvin Gordon. Okay, I'm sorry. I think Melvin Gordon could have a very big game tomorrow night. So, all right, man. Let's see here. Okay, we got some great comments here. Um, okay, I didn't, James. I didn't know that, but they really need to play more zone. When you have a rookie corner, I cannot emphasize this enough. Um, Man defense in the NFL is 100% different than anything you do in college. It is so different because in college, receivers only run about 3 to 4 routes. There's only 3 to 4 plays. Every team runs the same system, the same scheme. Um, Playing man corner in the NFL takes time, and without a preseason and OTAs, getting the third overall pick who's a corner and asking them to play man is too much. And that's why I really didn't like the pick. I really wanted Simmons because I thought you could have got more creative with him. And you could also dumb the defense down enough. That way you can just read and react. From what I was told, Okuda had a really good game. So you need to play. Okay, I think Luke G posted they did like 95% man the first 2 weeks, and it was like 50 last week. Again, I haven't watched the game, but I do like the fact they're using Adrian Peterson a lot. So I do need to watch that. Yes. Hey man, I've always liked Fitzgerald, and I think it's great because he's been playing football since 1940s. So I love the old time guys, and I think it's smart if he starts every single game except maybe the last game of the season if they're out of it. If it's a game that they can't make the playoffs, give Tua a game. The Chiefs did the same thing with Mahomes, and I'm not comparing Tua to Mahomes, but I like the fact that they're putting Tua on the bench because if you look, one thing I really liked and was very minor about the Thursday night game, Tua sits right next to Fitzpatrick. And they seem to have a legitimately good relationship. In hindsight, on the flip side, I remember Drew Lock when he was drafted by the Broncos. Remember, they gave all that money to Flacco. They asked Flacco, hey, what's your relationship with Locke? He goes, I was here to play quarterback. I'm not here to teach some kid. And it was icy and rocky. And I think that having a veteran quarterback and a rookie quarterback have a good relationship is very important. Alex Smith was key to Patrick Mahomes' development. And that's what Patrick Mahomes has gone out of his way to praise Alex Smith. So those two sitting together and having a good relationship is very, very important. And hopefully we don't see Tua play until like week 16 or 17. So Jimmy, yes. I didn't see San Francisco getting 39, but I think Nick Mullins is actually an upgrade over Jimmy G. I've never really been overly high on Jimmy G. I think he's a good quarterback. They're saying all the right things in San Francisco, that it's Jimmy G's team. But you know what? They said that about Tony Romo for like a month and a half. And then finally they're like, well, I think Dak Prescott's going to get the job when Tony comes back, if he comes back. And I think you could see the same thing. If Mullins has the same type of game again, you could have a quarterback controversy. And I think it's better to go with the young kid who's cheaper. That's a kind of a philosophy of what you do. You build teams around a cheap quarterback. They spent a lot of money on that defensive line. So that's something that San Francisco will have to consider. I think there will be a quarterback controversy in San Francisco. It would not surprise me if Mullins takes over. But no, I had no idea they're going to score 39. The Giants scoring 9 was good. By the way, and you actually, this is a good question because I think I know the answer. Okay. If you watch the Chargers Panthers game, the score was 21-16, which is 37 points. The over under is 43.5. We had over. And anytime you pick an over on a game and the team kicks 5 field goals, you just want to pull your hair out. The hook and ladder play that they called, if you watch it, if it worked, he scores, but he bobbled the ball. But if he doesn't bobble the ball, he gets in the end zone. So here's the thing. He scores a touchdown with no time left. Do they kick the extra point or not? The difference is it 43 points or 44? I think they have to kick the extra point. I think they do. I think regardless, and because there's no time on the clock, they wouldn't do that stupid go for 2. So I think they would have covered if that play collected the last play of the game. So, yeah, I threw my remote. I was not happy, but I do have a special for you. I am picking the Thursday night winner for you. I really like this too because I think more teams are going to do this. I was getting a little sick of hearing Kyler Murray dark horse MVP. It was really bothering me because I kept on telling people like this team isn't ready. I think Arizona's about 7-8 win team. And Kyler Murray's a developing quarterback. All right. I loved watching him in college. I actually remember he was the guy that was in Miami last year. Was it Miami or Carolina? But anyway, Texas A&M had Kyler Murray and this other four-star quarterback. He was like an ESPN top 150 player. And they were brought in, after, Johnny Manziel was part of that Johnny Manziel train. They brought in like a bunch of talent, and a bunch of players just left and ended up Kevin Sumlin, the Texas A&M coach, ended up getting fired. But Kyler Murray, I actually watched him at Texas A&M when he was a true freshman, and I was like, oh my God, he was so much fun to watch. I wasn't sure his game translated to the pros, and he's played a lot better than I really thought he would. But to sit here and say he's an MVP caliber quarterback or one of the top, 5 or 10 quarterbacks in the league, it's like, slow down, guys. No, he's still a work in progress, and the Lions were very smart in adapting the game plan to go ahead and put a zone, make him into a passer. And if you do that, that's how you beat them, and that's how you beat Arizona. Arizona's still a work in progress, but they're a fun team to watch. Yeah, he was. I like I said, I haven't had a chance to watch that game. I'm actually looking forward to watching that game. So, Bucks. I would slow down on the Bills. The Bills have played. Let me see here. The Jets. God, who's the other team that they played that they beat? And then they gave up a 25-point lead to the Rams, and they're at home. I love Josh Allen. But those are two good teams. I think both these teams currently are playoff teams. I don't think the NFC I think is wide open. The AFC I still think it's either going to be Kansas City or Baltimore. And we'll break down the Chiefs a little more detail. We'll break down that game here. No, Tim, I didn't take the money line. I wanted the 3.5. And actually, I think it was higher than 150, but I put 50 on the Chiefs to cover 3.5. I felt good about that. I already got 150 invested in next week, 50 on Thursday night, and I'm going to reveal that later on in the show. But yeah, I got I got that. And by the way, I'm going to try to say all your statements. That's something I wanted to do because not everybody can get in. Music City guy is he's not able to, but he's made some comments. He had some great comments. Tennessee, by the way, if you haven't heard, they're postponing the Tennessee-Pittsburgh game to either Monday or Tuesday. The NFL hasn't released whether it's going to be Monday or Tuesday. That's a game I'm going to watch. I might put some action on Pittsburgh. Sorry, Music City guy. But when you can't practice against the Steelers defense, that's going to show you a lot of different looks. That's a tough one. So, but the Minnesota-Houston game will go on as played. So, oh man. Edwards-Helaire again. Mozart's another. Yeah, those are actually really, really good running backs. Edwards-Helaire. The only issue is that New England's front seven's a lot better than Baltimore's front seven. This was a thing. Baltimore's front seven's still a work in progress. They beat up the Browns, which I don't even count that. And then they played Houston. They got out in front of them. Houston made some bad decisions. But when you have a rookie middle linebacker, the middle linebacker who is the captain of the defense, if you've never watched the Chiefs play before, the Chiefs do things that no other NFL team does. They'll line up in a different formation with different personnel every single play. The first play, it may be 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, and 1 wide receiver. Next play, it's 4 wide outs. Next play, it's 2 wide outs, 2 running backs, a tight end. They do so many different things. There's motion, there's shifting. And if you look at the Chiefs and you look at Patrick Mahomes, it looks like street ball. It looks very unorganized. It is not unorganized. All these players go to a specific spot. The no-look pass, that was made very famous. They're able to do that because receivers and Mahomes knows where to go. The number one attribute about Mahomes is actually from the neck up. He was they were talking about this even when he was on the bench, that he has a near photographic memory. The Andy Reid offense is the most complex offense in the NFL. So going against a rookie middle linebacker in week 3 is a lot to ask. If these two teams playing in the playoffs, it may be a different situation because he'll be used to the NFL by then. But apparently he was struggling with the defense. It's just they were playing the Browns where they were up by like 50 points by halftime. And Bill O'Brien kind of shot himself in the foot in that first or in the week 2 game. So Baltimore played in 2 blowouts. And of course, being a rookie, not seeing anything like Kansas City had was very, very difficult. So, yeah. Let me see here. Plays a money line bet on Green. Oh, man. Yes. Yes, Jimmy. And I'm glad you took Green Bay and did not listen to me because I really thought the Saints would bounce back. That was a great game to watch. So congratulations, Jimmy. I want you to make that money. And by the way, Jimmy's saying he's still down for the season. I'm going to help you because I got the winner for tomorrow. Winner for tomorrow. Zeke carving the Browns out and scared of Kamara because of the work Murray's been getting. I could see Zeke carving out the Browns, and you could, by the way, take either Browns running back. I think both Browns running backs are going to score. The Dallas defense is terrible, plus they're injury ridden. Mike Nolan has a relationship with Mike McCarthy, but I would not be surprised if they fire him at the end of the year. I mean, you got youth, injuries, either. It doesn't look like he's running the scheme that he really wants to run. So anybody against Dallas. So those are 3 really good running backs. Friday's show, if you're able to get in, I'll give you some more answers. But yeah, Zeke against the Browns works perfect. But one thing I've noticed about Dallas is that they are adapting the McCarthy offense by throwing the ball 65% of the time. So that's something that you might have to worry about, but I think Zeke would be good. Kamara, that's another thing is Michael Thomas may play. I heard he's practicing. That's something I'd kind of keep an eye on. But yeah. All right, man. GGGB. All right. All right, man. Some great comments. Vander Esch I think he's out. I think he's out for several weeks, actually. So anybody who wants to help Jimmy out, he's asking about running backs. But I think you guys kind of nailed it here. Zeke, either one of the Browns running backs is solid. LVH, or I'm sorry, Clyde Edwards, CEH, I'm sorry for the Chiefs. I would hesitate because going against a New England defense. And by the way, the Chiefs-Patriots game, you got to remember something. The Patriots played Sunday at noon at home while the Chiefs played Monday night on the road. I was wondering if the game got up to a crazy high spread like a Chiefs -8.5, I would actually take New England. And if you think it's bad betting on your home team, like I did, I took the Chiefs I took the Chiefs Monday night in 3.5. Now I wanted the 3.5. I was really tempted to take the money line, but I took the Chiefs in 3.5. Just imagine betting against your team, and I have no problem doing that. But the line's been at 7. I think the over/under is at 53. And what scares me about the Chiefs games last year, they played in Foxborough 23-16. So, yeah, I know New England's a different team. And a lot of people think Kansas City's weak against the run. Not really. They're not really weak against the run. I don't think that Cam Newton and New England will run for 250 like they did against the Raiders. The Chiefs actually currently have a better defense than the Raiders. The Raiders have a lot of youth, and they hired Ron Marinelli. He's trying to work with that young defensive line. There's a lot. That defensive line is all first and second year players. Where the Kansas City Chiefs have Frank Clark. They have. By the way, if you don't know how good Chris Jones is, he's easily one of the top 5 defensive tackles in football. And then they have some other personnel they really use. The Chiefs defensive line's actually one of the better defensive lines units. So, this is another good one. Chris Carson's actually not a bad pick. Off the top of my head, who is Seattle playing here next week? I think they have a good matchup, actually. Here, I forgot off the top of my head. Who are they playing? Oh, at Miami. That actually is going to be interesting because you have a West Coast team going to the East Coast. Miami, fresh off a Thursday night game. That game could be a little closer. James actually has a good one. AP against the Saints defense that's given up 34 and 37 points. I was thinking about taking a spread for the Vikings against the Titans, and the Vikings would have covered. It's actually funny because a show that I follow said that this is the first time a team's gone 3-0, but it hasn't covered the spread in either one of their games ever. And both the Steelers and the Titans have done that. Both Steelers and Titans are 3-0, but they're 0-3 against the spread. So they're playing each other in a fun game. But the Titans won the game. They didn't cover, but that was a game. I really thought the Vikings had that. They were up by 12 in the fourth quarter and blew the lead. Oh yeah. This is actually a good point. Jimmy says, wish he would have stuck to Chicago plus 3.5. Didn't take it. I didn't either because I thought Atlanta had the better team. What did I think of Foles leading the comeback against the Vikings? Okay. Oh man. And Golden Rooster is hopefully, if any of you know Golden Rooster on a personal note, you may want to check on him being a Falcons fan and everything. I was really hoping he'd be in, not because I wanted to give him the business, because I wanted to make sure he was okay. I've been through some bad seasons, but I don't know what to tell you because I thought the Falcons were a team that would be about 9-17 push for a wild card. They really should be 2-1. I mean, they really should be 2-1. They weren't as good as Seattle, but man, that team's just way too talented to be 0-3. But to lose those games the way they lost. Okay, here's the deal. I live in Kansas City, so I'm watching the Red Zone, Raiders, Patriots, Bears, Atlanta. I'm watching all 3 games at the same time. I have a system. Anyway, so I'm watching the game. The score's 26-10, and I'm about ready to shut off the DVR. I'm about ready to shut it off because I'm like, okay, Falcons got this. There's no way they're going to blow 26-10. Then you see Foles' helmet on, and I'm not joking. I had the remote in my hand, and I'm sitting here like, should I just shut this off? I think I'm going to shut this off. And then I probably shouldn't admit this because here I am. I got a show talking about football, so I probably shouldn't admit this. But I was thinking to myself, the first thing I said, and I think I even said this out loud, was I said they were going to put Foles in. I said, oh, that's a mistake. I'm going to admit it. I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was a mistake because once you put Foles in, you can't take him back out. All right. Trubisky, his career with the Bears is now officially over. Even if Foles gets injured, Trubisky's not going to want to come back. They're not going to want him back. So his career is now officially over. And it'll be really interesting to see where he goes because I think the guy's really talented. I loved him coming out of North Carolina, and I'm going to stop because I can go on a rant how much I loved Mitchell Trubisky coming out of college. I actually liked him more than Mahomes. I'm the only person in Kansas City who can admit that. But he can go somewhere else as a backup and be pretty good. And I think he'd be a good situation. It'll be interesting to see where he goes in the offseason. So, but yeah, what do I think about it? I thought it was a mistake putting Foles in and teaches you what I know. But once he got in there, I was like, oh my God, because the Bears are not that good of a team. I don't care. Even if they win the division and they go 10-6, I'm still going to say the same thing. The defense is good. All right. The defense is good. I have no idea why they don't run the ball more. I really like David Montgomery. I loved him coming out of Iowa State, but they don't do it. They just don't run the ball. I have no idea why. They want to throw the ball all over the place. If you don't know this already, most of you know this, because I said before, Matt Nagy was in the Kansas City. He was the quarterback coach. Then he was the offensive coordinator when Doug Peterson went and took a job in Philly. So he runs the same type of system that Andy Reid runs. And I really thought his issue with Trubisky is that he's running too complex of an offense. It seems that Trubisky is just overwhelmed. And I really thought that they should have just dumbed things down. And then I was watching that game against the Falcons, because it seems like at times they were moving the ball, but he doesn't seem comfortable. He doesn't seem like he gets it, and he just looks overwhelmed. Well, it looks just the opposite with Foles. How's Foles going to do moving forward? Foles is not a franchise quarterback. He's just not. But let's say the Bears defense continues to play at a very high level and Foles plays at a good level. They're a playoff team. They're a playoff team. Can they go to the Super Bowl? The NFC, I don't think there's really a dominant team. And it's funny, a guy that I follow who's a big Packers fan, I forgot, he asked me to remind him, and I didn't have a chance. But as far as the NFC, who is the dominant team? I don't think there really is one. Now, if you want to tell me, hey, the Packers are the dominant team, you want to tell me Seattle? They don't have a defense. I think, and then you want to tell me Tampa Bay? Do you want to play Tampa Bay in the playoffs with a healthy Brady and a healthy Fournette and Gronk getting involved in that offense? And that defense is just going to get better and better and better. I mean, I made the NFC's wide open. The AFC's Chiefs and Ravens. So, yeah, I think the Vikings had, if I remember, it's like a 12-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and oh man, I am so embarrassed. I am so embarrassed. I'm Dalvin Cook. I'm sorry guys. Dalvin Cook had 188. How you tell me, if you had told me before the game Dalvin Cook's going to blow up for 188, I'm like, okay, that's a win. So Dalvin Cook has 188 and you're up by 12 in the fourth quarter and you still lose that game. Yeah, I can honestly say I've never seen anything like what the Falcons are doing, and unfortunately, unless they come back and go 11-5, which I don't think is going to happen, but it'll be interesting to see who takes that job, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens with the Falcons. So yeah, I don't believe it. They didn't blow the game against the Seahawks. Seahawks had a much better team. They had, I think, one or two seasons, but you're right. I've always wondered. And we're going to find out this year. After this year, we're going to find out Matt Ryan stays or goes, because I think that there's a very good chance Matt Ryan and Julio Jones is gone if they blow this team up, especially if they just tank and then get a rookie quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. Yes, I'm drinking my steaming hot coffee. Alex, what's up, brother, man? I saw the comment. I'm just going in order, man. If you didn't hear already, just to recap, Minnesota and Houston's going to play Sunday as scheduled. The COVID thing is okay with Minnesota, an advantage because they did have one day without practice. So as you know, I got the Houston Texans in 7.5 wins. So even though I have a man crush on Zimmer, I'm pulling for your Texans. So Trubisky can back up Tua in Miami. Perfect backup for Tua. Can run call some of the same plays. Yes, actually, he could. I'm still hoping that Fitz will stay in Miami as the backup. I more than likely he won't. Now, keep in mind, it'll be his 87th year. Excuse me, it'll be like his 87th year in the league. So yeah. Trubisky went the way of Jay Cutler. You know, I always thought Jay Cutler had kind of a bad rap, and Him and Gase really clicked, and he had a few good seasons in Chicago. Trubisky, in my opinion, just the whole situation with Trubisky is just bad. I think that if he goes to a different team, a team I would like him for, and a guy that was really high on him. I remember, if you remember, Gruden had those Gruden QB camps. Gruden really liked him, but it was funny. They had Trubisky come in, they had Mahomes come in, they had Watson come in, and he said Trubisky, nobody took more notes, nobody listened more, nobody had more questions. But at the end, he said, if you have to go with one of these quarterbacks, go with Mahomes. And I was like, why do you like Mahomes? No, now I know. Newsflash, Gruden knows quarterbacks in football, but Trubisky would be a guy I think that in Vegas would actually be a great fit. He could back up Derek Carr, and he could do a lot of the same things. Mariota, they brought him in to kind of push Derek Carr a little bit. Nobody's even talked about Mariota. I do follow some Raiders fans on social media. Apparently, he's just done nothing. I mean, so I was kind of surprised about that. I really thought it would be more of a competition, but it's not. Trubisky to back up too. I don't be surprised if it happens, but me personally, I'm really wanting Fitzpatrick to stay there. That's just me. Alex is saying, never been more frustrated with the Texans. Should have kept the pass attack. Okay, I have not had a chance to watch that game either, but I agree with you, because I saw that they had Reggie Cobb, and it looked like they're running that is kind of a college pseudo run and shoot type of thing, where they were lining up 3-4 wide receivers. Watson was back there kind of dinking and dunking, doing a lot of the same things that Kansas City does. Not quite on that scale. I'm not rubbing it in, and I'm not insulting the Houston Texans. It's just that it was kind of like, you have to realize Kansas City Chiefs have got Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins, two legitimate number one wide receivers in the league. They also have Travis Kelce, who's a Hall of Fame tight end. You don't have those same type of weapons. I love Will Fuller, who did play, but I don't think he's 100%. Brandon Cooks, I thought that he could blow up. He didn't. He just didn't. And I don't know if it's injuries, him learning the system. It wouldn't surprise me if this year, if they have a high draft pick, it wouldn't surprise me if they go after a wide receiver. Remember, Dallas did the same thing. Dallas tried, they got rid of their number one receiver, and then they had to trade for Amari Cooper. They realized they made a mistake. I know you don't like the Cowboys, but when they brought in Amari Cooper, things changed. And there's a very good chance that Texans may say, hey, look, we thought we had some number ones. Fuller can't stay healthy, so let's go ahead and bring in a legitimate number one. It will be very, very interesting to see what they do in the offseason. But yeah, they were throwing the ball. And I was going to ask you, how did David Johnson look? Did he just look bad, or is it the offensive line? You have to tell me. You have to tell me. But they should have kept throwing the ball. They should have kept the pressure. Keep in mind, Pittsburgh has a very good defense. They have a very good front seven, a lot of pass rushers. But they had a chance to beat Pittsburgh. I wish they would have beat Pittsburgh. The good news is that you have, I hate to say it's an advantage or anything positive, because there's more important things in football, but with the missing day of practice for the Vikings and the young secondary going against a really, really good quarterback in Watson, I do like Houston. So Robinson, now that is a killer receiver. Okuda is really getting a beat down. Keep in mind, Michael Thomas is practicing. I don't think he's playing this week, but I will admit that I do. Here's the thing: I like Okuda. I just don't like him in that man defense. But if they're playing more zone, this is interesting. Foles over Fitz. Ooh, I don't know. I really don't know. If you're going by just last week, yes. Chicago has more weapons than you think. Cole Kmet hasn't really made that much of a difference, but he was easily the number one tight end in the draft. Jimmy Graham, at one point in time, was a Hall of Famer. I don't think he is. I don't know. I think when he retires, he's a guy who's like borderline, but I don't think he makes it in. I love David Montgomery. I don't know why they don't run the ball more, use the guy more. But they have some good receiver. Allen Robinson's a really good receiver. God, the kid out of Memphis, and I love him, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. Oh, Anthony Miller. Chicago has weapons, and they have a defense. Foles is not a top 10 quarterback, even as best, but with a really good defense, and they're 3-0. They're 3-0. Jimmy, I was really at the beginning of the year, I said that, they're going to take a step back, and I want to be right about this, but I think you may have hit the nail on the head. I mean, the offense looks like it's firing on all cylinders, which I was kind of surprised about. Devontae Adams, when he comes back, he's just going to add. The defense isn't great, but they don't have to be great when you're scoring as much as they do. Rodgers is playing at very high level, and me personally, I would love it just as a football fan to see Rodgers leave and go to Chicago. I think that would be a lot of fun. But for Rodgers last year in Green Bay, which I think it'll be this year or next year. I think I'm on board with you from what I've seen so far. But it's a long season. Injuries are a big part. That's going to have a lot to do with it. Devontae Adams will have to come back and play at a very high level for them to go 13-3. Long year, but as of right now, I could see this. I could see this happening. Alex says, very surprised about the Chiefs game. Thought it'd be much closer than it was. The Chiefs match up very good against the Ravens. That's why I put action on the Chiefs. I did take 3.5. I didn't take the money line, just took 3.5. Here's the thing with the Chiefs. Andy Reid always plays very well against his former assistant coaches. It's kind of funny because Bill Belichick's just the polar opposite. He really struggles against some of his coaches, but Andy Reid does not. The Ravens front seven is not very good. All right. They added 2 key defensive linemen. Those guys are playing decent. The linebackers still work in progress. If they played this game week 10, week 12, it'd be much closer. But the Chiefs right now, I think, are easily the best team in the NFL. I don't even think it's close. Keep in mind, it's a long year. So, the Chiefs don't have a lot of depth. They have 1 or 2 players go down. It's a completely different game. Once that Ravens defense, especially that front seven, gets things ironed out, it'll be different. It'll be different. But the Chiefs got the Ravens at the right time. I did think it was going to be a little closer, but I'm not surprised the Chiefs won. All right. Life is a gamble. Falcons blow leads and flop more than a fish. It's a damn shame because I've always liked Matt Ryan, and Julio Jones is so much fun to watch. It's just a shame what they're doing. Oh, James. Oh, man. Oh, God. James says Falcons should go see what Jerry Glanville is doing. And I loved Jerry Glanville. I've always loved Jerry Glanville, one of my all-time favorite coaches. I would love to see Jerry Glanville back in the NFL. I would love to see him on TV. Last I heard, he was just working at a small college just for fun, but I love Jerry Glanville. I would love nothing more than Jerry Glanville coming back into the NFL. I don't think Glanville's style on defense would fit in today's era, but I loved Jerry Glanville. I love Jay Cutler, just not. that last year in Miami. Honestly, okay, Alex has a really good point. Alex says, honestly, they should have got rid of Trubisky last year. They don't have the system for him. I actually thought that what they did was the right thing, except I was actually against Foles. I really thought that the whole problem was that they're trying to run this very complex offense with a quarterback who's just not getting it, and with no OTAs and no preseason, that hurt. You have to understand, and I said this earlier, but Matt Nagy came from Kansas City. They're running a very similar offense to Kansas City, which is easily the most complex system in the NFL. It's an extremely, okay, a matter of fact, It's funny. Kansas City reporters are ready to do this because, Chiefs, at the beginning of OTAs and training camp, they always bring in a young quarterback. And they've done this every single year that Andy Reid's been here. So the Chiefs reporters are ready for this. The news reporters, they always ask every single player the same, or young quarterback, the same exact question. And it's always the same answer. And it's hilarious. They say, "Hey, how's training camp like? How's it like in an NFL huddle?" And they all have this look, and he's like, they all say the same exact thing. They said, when they first gave me the play, I thought they were messing with me. They thought I was messing with it, because an Andy Reid play is about 6 or 7 sentences. It's not like Red Fox 86 Foxtrot Z quarter X. That's one sentence. Excuse me, nose itching. So it's like 7 sentences, and it's a struggle just to say the play, because if you watch college football, it's looking over at the coach, they wave some board up, it's snap the ball, there's only 3 or 4 plays. Not that way in an Andy Reid system. So every single rookie quarterback comes in, they all think that it's a practical joke. They think that it's a joke. They don't even want to do it. And then they realize it's not. This Andy Reid, it's such a complex system. What they really needed to do was dumb it down. Foles was in Kansas City with Nagy for a year. He's familiar with the system. Apparently he can handle it. Trubisky could have success somewhere else, but every time I've watched Trubisky, sometimes the game's too big for you. Even if you play at a big-time school, even if you play an SEC school, sometimes you get into the NFL and it's just too big for you. And then on top of this, it's really complex system. Maybe he just needs to play in a different offense. All right, the Texans were unstoppable in the first. They ran the ball, yada, yada, yada. Defense was great to the fourth when they were on the field all second half. I didn't have a chance to watch that game. I really wanted to watch that game. And I'm glad you said it, but Pittsburgh's got a good team, man. You lost the 3 really good AFC teams, maybe the top 3 teams in the AFC, depending on. I think the Patriots are better than the Steelers, but the good news is, like, from here on, it's smooth sailing. You have an advantage. You're home against Minnesota, which lost a week of practice. This game's key. If you go 0-4. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. He's saying the Steelers' pass defense was just too good. He had bursts, but the Steelers' defense is very good. Steelers' defense is very, very good. Mike's saying, "Oh God, that's actually a good point. I don't think so, but you do know that they fired the defensive coordinator, and why can't I remember name? I am really bad on names today, because I know who he is. I know he came from Seattle. I'm just drawing a blank. The head coach, and I am really sorry, guys. I know who he is. I'm not good with names, but it's still lame that I don't know this off the top of my head. I really, really should know this. I'm so sorry. The Falcons head coach. I can't believe I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm looking it up real fast here. I am so sorry. Dan Quinn. We have the same name, and I can't remember. Keep in mind, another thing was their rookie AJ Terrell didn't play in this game. He's actually their number 1 corner. But when you have the head coach who fires the defensive coordinator and he takes over the defensive duties and your team falls apart defensively, that is very, very bad. Very, very bad. Basically, you have to move on. And it'll be interesting, because what they've done is that since they have Matt Ryan and they have Julio Jones, they've always gone with defensive-minded coaches. I would love to see them bring in an offensive-minded coach, but if they bring in an offensive-minded coach, they want to blow up the team and go with a different style of offense. That'll be very interesting. There's too much talent in Atlanta for them to be 0-3. So funk over fink. I'm sorry, Mike. I don't get it. It's funny. Music City guy, I was talking about you earlier. We We were talking about it because Minnesota blew a 12-point lead. The Titans did not cover, which I know you're pissed about. So no, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. Tennessee 3-0. If you haven't heard, I'm pretty sure you have. It looks like they're going to play the Steelers. Excuse me. They're going to play the Steelers either Monday or Tuesday. Hopefully that the more details will come out. Later on when I do the show Friday, we should know. That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. It's you could say what you want, but yeah, it's a little bit of an unfair advantage towards the Steelers depending on how you do it. But yeah, great win. You're down by 12 in the fourth quarter. You give up 188 to Dalvin Cook, and you still come out with a win. Alex says there's no excuse if the Texans lose to the Vikings. If we go 0-4, Bill O'Brien is gone, or we'll burn down the NRG. Wow. Keep in mind, Bill O'Brien is the general manager and head coach. So, by the way, I'm looking at StreamYard right here. I have no idea what's going on in YouTube land, but if you guys don't mind, if you haven't done it already, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching is subscribed. But if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out quite a bit. I've been just under 600 subscribers. I've really been wanting to get to over 600. I haven't been able to break that hump. It's okay because I'd rather have quality over quantity. I'd rather have the guys. You guys are great. This is my favorite thing in the whole world, talking football with good, smart sports fans, guys that say, because I want to tell you something, Music City guy, you left some comments. You're like, hey, man, this could be a game that we lose. And that's smart because dude, listen, there's a Carolina Panthers fanboy channel that thinks that they're going 10-6. All right. I'm not joking. There's fanboys in Cincinnati are telling me Justin Burrow's elite. All right, Joe Burrow's elite. I can get his name wrong, but you are a good sports fan. You're a smart sports fan. Me and you talked about the AFC Championship game. You had some really good points. And, Alex, you've had some great points. Mike, ever since you've been following my show, you've had some really great points. So, I'd rather talk to a small amount of sports fans. Like I said, and I've said this, and I mean, it's maybe nuts, but here's the thing. I would rather go to a bar and talk sports or hang out with you guys and talk football than go out on a date with a hot girl any day of the week. I'm that crazy. Jimmy, notice the Chiefs are -7 against the Patriots on Sunday. That just seems high. You know what? When the Chiefs were blowing the Ravens out, and I thought that at one point they were going to win by 20 or 30, I actually thought that the line might be 8.5. And I'm going to tell you something. If it got up to 8.5, I was going to put money on the Patriots. The only reason I don't put action on the over is because last year they played 23-16. Remember, Bill Belichick has almost 2 extra days. The Patriots played noon Sunday at home while the Chiefs played Monday in Baltimore. That's almost 2 days for Bill Belichick. So if the line got crazy at 8.5, matter of fact, I'm gonna do this right now. Hold on here. Bear with me here. I'm gonna refresh. I'm going to mybookie.com. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you guys this. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Oh, wow. You guys, I got a treat for you guys. Before I go any further, if you use mybookie.com, what I did is I put $300 from my checking account, and today my checking account nullified the transaction. I still have the money in my bookie, but the money's also in my checking account. For some reason or other, my bank. If you use a deposit that's not Bitcoin, you could have problems with your financial institution. If you're familiar with Bitcoin, something I've been kind of researching a little bit, use Bitcoin. But I'm just warning you, if you do use my bookie like I'm doing and you use your checking account, There is a 5% fee, which I didn't know about. So be careful because I put in 300. They took out 316.13, and then there's a 5% charge. If you have Bitcoin, use Bitcoin. This isn't channel talk about Bitcoin, by the way. But if you use Bitcoin, then it's fine. If you're using a checking account, read the fine print. I'll be honest with you. I don't like online betting. I'd rather go to a casino, but I'm going to use the numbers from my bookie, and that's where I got a great steal. And I'm kind of mad because I did not get this number on the game. But right now, the Chiefs and Patriots it's still at 7. Still at 7. And over under, I think, was at 54. It's now 53.5. I would take that, except that last year they played 23-16. I'm going to leave this game alone, but I was thinking when they were up by like 20, I was thinking if the Patriots get like 8.5, that was kind of my magic number, and that never will work. I'm going to skip here some comments. It could be the same problem. I think there is a 5% charge extra. I got the site up, but I'll email you because I'll find out. I used my debit card from my bank account. There was a 5% charge, so I would be careful about that. I'm going to double head and check. For you, Mike, and I will email you. If it's okay, I'll email you Friday after the show with that. I should have that information for you. So. Mike is a great mind. I'm not calling you out because you're not alone. But that, by the way, somebody I knew told me they liked Mississippi State to cover at LSU, and I'm like, no, don't pick that. LSU could win this game huge. So wow, yeah. Okay. I heard something different. I heard that Minnesota had positives. I didn't hear anything about the Texans, but I heard Minnesota did. I think Minnesota still has one player, but they're outside and not with the organization. Everything's ended up good. I didn't know anything about Houston, but I was kind of worried about that. So, but the game's going on same as always. And I am actually kind of mad right now because this happened to me, and I'm going to get through some of these comments. And since I've been rambling about football for about 55 minutes already, 52:20 now, I'm going to give you my Thursday night game, a game that I put action on, but I got a completely different number, and I'm mad. I'm really mad, and I'm going to tell you why here in a few minutes. I'm going to go through all these comments here. Also, how about it's funny because I think they're going to win about 7 to 8 games. They could win that division. They're not that good of a team. And here's the thing. While Prescott's putting up all these great numbers, this has got to be funny because people are loving this. The only person that doesn't love it's Jerry Jones, because every time he puts up a big game, especially in a loss, because as you know, when you're losing and you're down, what do? You throw the ball. So the numbers are going to be exaggerated. Check this out. If you're a Cowboys fan, I don't think I have any Cowboys fans here, but here's the thing. If you're a Cowboys fan and you paid attention to the Cowboys, when do they do better? When Prescott throws less, not more. When he puts up better numbers, what do? They lose. He put up a ton. The passing just went up astronomically last year. What happened? They went 8-8. Everybody got fired. So when he throws the ball a lot, what happens? They lose. And Prescott's all he's got to do is say, hey, look, I want, Mahomes has got $500 million. Deshaun Watson. I know that there's a lot of Cowboys fans that think that he's a better quarterback. I'm going to adjust my camera here just a hair. All right. There's a lot of Cowboys fans that think that Prescott's better than Watson. He's not. He's just not. And Pete's got the right thing. Feed Zeke. They need to run the ball. When they're a running team, they play better. And proofs in the pudding. When they're a passing team, they go 8-8, miss the playoffs. Everybody gets fired. How do Cowboys not know this? And now Prescott, who's going to put up great numbers, he's going to want about $50 million a year. Remember, people are like $35 million. No, I'm not joking. His agent's going to press for 50. His agent's going to press for 50. And there's going to be a team out there that's going to pay him. It could be Chicago. I know I said Chicago a couple different times, but Chicago is going to be in the market for a team. So yeah. Oh my, I can't. I want to like whatever. People have bet the Dolphins and the Jets. Both lines have come down. Let me see here. Yes. And you kind of beat me to it because I'm going to give you the Thursday night winner, and the line just dropped. I'm looking at it and I'm not even prepared because the number. Anyway, I'm going to tell you. I'll reveal that here. And Miami, the lines come down. Oh wow. Seattle, I thought was 5. I might be wrong. Miami's now plus 6.5. The over's 53. I like the over more in that game. And Mike, I will get back to you. Is it time to panic in Philly? The problem is if you listen to my show, the more and more you listen to me, Music City Guy, the more and more you'll find out that I preach offensive line. Before the season started, their left tackle, again, another brain freeze with the name, Denard, I think it was. I watched him on not Mississippi State. That's where Mike Leach is now at. He was at Washington State, and I loved him at Washington State. He was an excellent left tackle, so I thought it was a great draft pick. So he gets injured late in training camp, so they took Jason Peters, a former left tackle. They moved him inside guard because he lost a step. He's 36. Remember, he held out for more money. They moved him over to left tackle. He got hurt. They're like, center's hurt. Their guard. Remember, the center is Kelsey's younger brother. He's been like a Pro Bowl center. Lane Johnson, their all-pro right tackle, he's out. So they act. This is a true story. I'm not exaggerating. Doug Peterson, the coach at Eagles, called me and asked if I wanted to start at left tackle. True story. No, of course I'm exaggerating. It's time to panic, but it's due to injuries. Rager didn't play. Deshaun Watson, who is ever since he's been in Philly for, I think, 2 years now. He's played 3 games or something. He's permanently injured. Bottom line, there's just so many injuries that it's not really a time to panic. If you're not familiar with Eagles fans, they're just a different breed of people. They're passionate and they're loyal, which is a good thing, but they're just a different breed of people. It's not really a time to panic because they're so injury riddled. I actually think that Wentz is actually playing decent, and people are blaming Wentz. It's not Wentz. When you have an offensive line that's injured as much as the Eagles' offensive line is, there's not really much you can do. A lot of people want to talk about the tie that Doug Peterson had. Should he have gone for it? Should he have not? He was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, where Denver, they were in a game against Denver. It was under 2 minutes left, and Denver went for a long field goal, missed the field goal, and the Chiefs got a first down and kicked the field goal at the end of overtime and won the game. The last play of overtime was like a 58-yard field goal because Denver missed a 60-yard field goal. It's like 40 seconds left or something. Kelsey called a ball over the middle, and Broncos fans were furious. So Doug Peterson was coach of the Chiefs. That's why he went ahead and went for the tie, and I thought that was the right move. One thing about the Eagles is the last several years, they've always come on late in the year. Remember last year, they're 4-7, won 5 straight. So I don't think it's time, but I guarantee you Eagles fans will, because Eagles fans are like that. Colts are favored against the Bears. Yeah, I get why, because you're going with the backup quarterback, and that always happens. It's I'm on my bookie as we are talking. It's a 2.5. The over under is 43.5. Man, I can make a good argument either way. To tell you the truth, I kind of like the Bears in 2.5 in that one. It's Bears are at home and they're a home dog. Wow. Ooh. That's a yeah. And that's how Dallas is going to win, by running the ball. Zeke will win the division, not Dak. They need a quarterback that feeds the ball, is a good thrower. Dak should not be paid, and I think Emperor Jerry Jones would do it. Oh, wow. As we were talking, the over under just changed on my bookie. That's actually kind of a neat feature. That actually happened to me, and I'm going to go over that here in just a second. It's actually funny because I think the offense is built on them throwing the ball, and that's their whole reason why they drafted CD Jones or CD Lamb. Great. Wow. Okay. As we're talking, the line just dropped from 43.5 to 43 for the Colts Bears game. The over under just dropped from 43.5 to 43. God, I really like the over on that game. You remember the last game I put 43 on those, so actually, I think Dallas is going to continue passing the football, and bottom line, Dak's going to make a lot of money. But when Dallas is successful, is that when they run the ball, and that's when they need to do it. I don't like the over in Miami. Both teams play slow. Okay, well, Pete, Seattle doesn't do that anymore. Seattle's been a high-scoring passing offense. Russell Wilson has 13 passing touchdowns. Byron Jones, I don't even know is going to play. And Miami is coming off fresh too. Remember, they played Thursday night. So I kind of like the over, but it's a big number here. If I remember, what did I just say? 53.5, 50, it's 53. So I kind of like the over on that game. I'm avoiding Seattle going to Miami, so I wouldn't take the over. I wouldn't take 6.5 on it for either team, but I kind of like the over on that game. So I'm going to give you the Thursday night winner. And by the way, Pete, I 100% agree with you. It is a trap game. NFC going to the East, and Seattle going to Miami. It's 3,000 miles for a noon game, for a game that they can lose. Yeah, it's definitely a trap game. That's kind of why I like the over on that one. So I'm going to give you, and by the way, I'm taken off guard because the line just really dropped in this game. I got Denver. I took Denver at -1. I wanted to get them at a pick 'em because Denver was a 3-point favorite at New York. I got them at 1. If you go to my bookie today, right now, this very second, as we're talking, Denver is a 1.5-point dog. That is, I'm saying that correctly. Denver is the dog. The line just dropped 2.5 points. I got Denver -1. You can now get Denver 1.5. That's my bet. That's my play for Thursday night. I put 50 down. I apologize that I was going to take a screenshot and show you. I only put 50. I got -105. So 50 is going to pay me $47.50. I feel very confident I'm going to collect. But you can get Denver as the dog. You can get the dog. Brett Ripien is starting. Do you like? Okay, this is something that you don't want to overthink. I get Ripien starting. If you remember, for those of you old school guys, it's Mark Ripien's nephew. Yeah, I was. Listen, the money line's not even available right now. The money line's right now not even available. Right now, it's you know what? I apologize, guys. It's got the free version. You know what? I probably should. You know what? Here, let's. I'm gonna do this here. I may be breaking a YouTube thing here, but I'm just going to show you. You can see line for line what I'm doing here. I only have 95.45, and that's because I have $150 of action. I'm going to remove the banner. right here so you can see everything. This is my bookie right now. This is my account live. I'm probably breaking some sort of YouTube regulation, but this is live. If you can see here, if you want to put action, whoops. Okay, I apologize. Okay, yeah, but this is live. This is my bookie. If you go ahead and you open up an account on my bookie, this is exactly what you're seeing. If you want to go ahead and put action down, you want to take Denver, and let's just go ahead and let's just, as you see here, I usually put 100. So let's say I put 100 for 90.91. And by the way, I already got 50 down on the game, but I got Denver -1. I got Denver -1. Take advantage of my mistake. If you are going to bet, forget ripping. Forget ripping. And I'm gonna go ahead and just get off of here. Why do I like Denver? This is one of those things. Don't overthink it. All right, don't overthink the quarterback situation. Okay, the Jets are a train wreck. All right, Gase is probably going to get fired right after the game. The team doesn't believe in him. I don't care what they say. The Broncos defense is better than the Colts defense. If you look at numbers and you look at stats, you're not going to believe me. But let me tell you right now, Denver's defense is going to keep the Jets offense in traction. Melvin Gordon's going to have a big game. Jerry Jeudy's going to have a big game. I got -1. Denver's going to win this game. Gase is going to get fired after the game. I put my money where my mouth is. I only put 50. I meant to show you a screenshot of it. So, yeah. Scott, what is up, brother? Okay, now, Jimmy, your site may be different, but I just showed you the money line's not even available in this game. So, money line for the Bears, too. Ooh. You know, I actually really like it. I don't know what Jimmy uses a different website. If you're using my bookie, yes, Mike, exactly. It opened at 3, and I'm going to bounce back to you here, Jimmy. Here's the deal: the line opened Denver -3, and then I jumped on at a pick'em. I was going to take a pick'em, right? I was going to take a pick'em. As soon as I hit the button to take a pick'em, it jumped to -1. Now, the pick'em was at -120. I got -105 and won. So, yes. So, yes, my Thursday night pick is Denver. Don't overthink this. Denver's defense is going to shut down the Jets' offense. They're going to dumb down Denver's offense. Melvin Gordon's going to have a big workload. I think that Jerry Jeudy's going to have a breakout type game. He's looked really good. Don't overthink this game. This is a good opportunity to win some money. I got 50 on Denver. I got 1. You can get +1.5. And Jimmy, I actually like it. I like +115. I actually do like that game. I think the Colts are 2-1. You could argue if you want to that they could be 3-0. The Colts are mirage. Your Colts are mirage. The Bears at home, I like. I like the Bears. Take the money line. I think it's a good bet. Let me know if you take it. Please let me know if you take it. And Pete, you do have a good point. You have a great point. I hope you're right, but I don't see it. Sam Darnold against Rippon. Yes, if you look at quarterback matchups, but this is a team that does not believe in Gase. This is, I think, going to be Gase's last game as a coach. They're not ready to bounce back. Denver's a team that, even though they start off slow, they started off, I think, 0-4, finished 7-9. You got to look at the defense. Denver's defense is still very good. Denver's defense is better than Colts defense. Denver's defense is better than the Colts defense. Denver has some good players on defense. Melvin Gordon's going to have a good game. Yes, the quarterback matchup, I like Darnold better than Rippon, but Darnold's going against a better defense on a short rest. I don't think he has a support system. So that's why I didn't bet my life savings on it. I just took 50, but I do like Denver in this game. Denver will get its first win of the season. So we know Gase is on his way out. When does Elway get fired? Okay. If Denver makes a move, it will be 100% after the season. I think Fangio is going to be fired. Okay. And the reason why I think Fangio is going to be fired is he's not the right fit. Elway drafted two receivers in rounds 1 and 2, and Fangio's an old school defensive coach. I think that you're building a team. He's trying to build like a Kansas City type of team where offense is the forefront, but you have a defensive coordinator. That doesn't make sense. I understand what he wants to do is the same thing that the Colts did. You have a great offense, then you have Tony Dungy. You have Tom Brady, you have Bill Belichick. And I get it. It makes sense. But when he won a Super Bowl, he won it with an offensive mind. I thought it was weird that Fangio, but I don't think they mesh. So I think Fangio will be gone. I think Elway could be fired. But the one thing I think that could save him is that Jerry Jeudy is going to have a big year. There's no way he should drop to 15. He was my number 3 player on the board. As a matter of fact, the guy who does the Locked On Broncos, he argued he wanted Ruggs. He wasn't happy with Jeudy. And I'm like, dude, you got maybe the best receiver. And then he flipped it around and tried to make it sound like he was all aboard to Jeudy. And I'm like, just own it. Just say you're wrong. He wouldn't do it. But lots of people are like that. So, by the way, Mike, personal note, are you coming Saturday? I really want to see you. All right, so try to make it Saturday. There's also a Denver defense without Miller. Okay, yes, but Bradley Chubb looked good. The front seven's still solid. Darnold is not confident in his receivers. He's not confident in his offense. He scored 7 against a Colts defense that's not that good. All right, he scored 7. The Colts do not have that good of a defense. There's talent on Denver. And since you're giving me a good luck thumbs up, you're not believing in me, but that's okay, man. I don't want to channel. See, here's the thing. When I say that I'd rather sit here and hang out with a bunch of guys talking football, I love it when, by the way, if you haven't yet, Scott, Mike, I know you just joined. Don't forget, give me the thumbs up on the YouTube. I'm not watching YouTube at all right now, so I have no idea what's going on in YouTube land. I may have 15 thumbs down. I have no clue. I don't know until after I turn it off, but don't forget, give me the thumbs up. And by the way, I'm pretty sure that all you guys are subscribed to my channel, but do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But yeah, I love it when people agree. Don't get me wrong, but I really love it when people, hey, Dan, hold off here. I know you love Denver. I know you're giving Denver. I know you put an action on Denver, but I like the Jets. And if you put action on the Jets, please let me know. Please let me know. Like I said, I got 50 on Denver. I got -1. If you go to my bookie, you can get 1.5. Again, I've had some issues. I've had some issues with my checking account. As far as a credit card, I definitely will. I'll email you as soon as I can. All right, I promise. Mike, this is more personal stuff, guys. But yeah, please come. Scott, yeah, man. It's funny. I might miss. I'll try to make it for lunch. If you can, just run up. Jeff's going to be there. Chad, I haven't heard back from him, but he said he was. Mike even gave me a thumbs up. And oh man, locked in Broncos +105. Oh, you got the money line. Or did you get 1.5? Let me know. And then Chicago Bears you got +120. I think that's a very solid bet. For those of you who don't know, Jimmy just put in, he's locked in. He's got the Broncos at +105. I think you got the money line, Jimmy. I don't. Okay, Jimmy's got the money line. He uses a different site than my bookie. But Jimmy's got 105 on Denver. So even though I'm a Chiefs fan, putting action on Denver seems silly, but this is not a sports fan thing. This is a logic thing. I'm looking at a train wreck in the New York Jets. I'm not banking on Denver. I'm banking on the Jets being a train wreck of a team. I'm betting on Adam Gase getting fired, which I think will happen after the after the game. I think it will happen Thursday night, if not Friday, but I think you'll see Greg Williams take over. And that's another thing. If this happens, put action on the Jets to cover the following week. That's something that always happens when you get a new head coach. Usually the team plays a little better the following week. So hopefully if Denver wins and Gase is fired. By the way, never feel sorry when an NFL coach gets fired. These guys are multimillionaires, and Gase will always be able to get another $1 million job. Never feel sorry for an NFL head coach. But when a team fires its coaching staff, you feel sorry for the assistants that are making, either low six figures or under six figures that they got to move their family. I always feel bad for those guys. I never, ever, ever will feel sorry for an NFL head coach getting fired. So, but yeah, Jimmy, I love, by the way, he's got plus 120 on the money line. The Bears right now, according to my book, he's actually a 2.5 point dog. I actually like Chicago at home against the Colts. I think the Colts, even though they're 2-1, I think it's Mirage. I'm really surprised that the Colts are favored in Chicago. I really am. But a lot of times the reason behind it is that when you have a backup quarterback as your new starter, you thinking you have to change things. This is a little different of a situation because Foles is familiar with the offense. I think the offense will play better. So Pete wishing, by the way, this is one of my favorite college. Mike Booth, if you're still there, anyway, we got to talk Saturday. I got something else lined up for you, but you mentioned about wanting to give me money for something, and yes, it's happening. So yeah, you want to give me some money. All right. Yeah, that's another thing, and I haven't touched base on this, is that if you're in Vegas betting on sports, you want to find the games and then you shop around for the best casinos. And the same thing, if you have multiple online accounts, you want to find the best ones to go ahead and bet on. I was going to use Bovada in my bookie, but when I had problems with Bovada's site, the thing is, so I'm using my bookie, and I'm all of a sudden I found out that I have an extra $316 in my account. I'm like, what's going on? My bank voided the account, but my bookie hasn't done anything. But as of I was leaving work at 5:00, which is when banks close, I still have that money in my checking account. So I don't know the whole situation, but my bank voided the MyBookie deposit. So you probably won't have that problem with a credit card. However, I think there may be fees, and you probably won't have that issue. One thing, can you customize the lines on MyBookie? I believe you can. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to skip here. I believe you can, because I toyed around with it. I toyed around about, I normally don't do, this is advanced game, by the way. I toyed around with taking additional points on the Patriots, but I haven't tried it yet, but I think you can. And hey, Jimmy, do you have my, have you emailed me? If not, email me, and I'll find out for sure. The only way the Jets can win this, the Broncos, exactly. It's exactly. And I think that what they're going to do, Fangio's an old school coach. And when you have an old school coach, you run the ball. I think Denver can run the ball. I think Melvin Gordon's really waiting for a breakout game. So I think that what they're going to do is just run the ball. I kind of like the under, but it's 40.5, so I don't want to take it. I think Jerry Jeudy will make enough plays. I think the Jets are just going to completely self-destruct. Yeah, I told you, Scott, Jerry Jeudy's going to have a big year. And Jimmy here's referring to ACR. I can't remember. It was like American Card. Jimmy plays some poker. Sorry if you didn't want me to say that, but you brought it up before on here, so I didn't think it'd be an issue. But I don't play poker anymore. I originally was going to use Bovada, but when there was a problem with the site, I went ahead and went with my bookie. Currently, like I said, there's some issues, but I've heard that too. I don't buy it. If you watch the body language of the Jets, they just look defeated. And I'm telling you right now, if you watch last year with the Washington Redskins, it's not really the same thing. But when they went 0-3, they lost that I think it was the fourth or fifth game, and Gruden was on his way out the door. I think it's the same situation here. I know that they're saying all the things, and this is why the line's been going the opposite way, because you saw the same thing I'm seeing, Mike. Don't buy into it. Fangio is an old school coach. We'll have this team ready to go. They're going to play old school offense. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play good defense. I don't think the Jets are going to be ready for it. However, I have no problems owning up to my mistakes. Most YouTube channels only talk about when they win. The DANshow will talk about when they lose. And hey, I'll be here Friday. I will be here Friday, win or lose. And by the way, hey Mike, I hope you're here Friday. You've been pretty consistent, so I fully expect you to be here. But if you're not, that's okay. I don't want you to feel pressured. But you can tell me you told me so, and I got no problems owning up to my mistake. But my Thursday night winner is take the Denver Broncos. Just go by what you see. Don't overthink this. Just go by what you see. Denver plays hard. They have a good defense. They're better than an 0-3 team. The Jets are falling apart. Watch any part of the game against the Jets. They have their heads down. They're not ready. They're not prepared. They know that Gase is going to be fired. I think Gase will be fired right after this game. All right, Pete's got to go. Pete, you have a great night. Our convo the other day. No, this is a conversation we had a while back about you giving me money for an event that's coming up here in about 1 month. So anyway, I don't want to talk about it here because this is a football show. Can you customize? Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to. If you're not here Friday. If I don't hear from you Friday, shoot me an email because I was thinking about taking a 6-point teaser on the Patriots. So, yeah, and I don't use ACR, so I can't say anything. So, Jim, who did he draft? Because I helped Jim with his draft, and I don't want to go on that. Funk, man, what is up, brother? Man, listen, hey, Funk, we talked about the Lions quite a bit earlier. I love what they did with playing some more zone defense, using the clock properly. I wish you a lot of luck against the Saints. Michael Thomas is practicing. It doesn't look like he's going to play. I am doing fantastic. Since you just joined in, we got some action here in the comments. You can take a look. But my Thursday night winner is the Denver Broncos, which I know you don't bet. So, but I like the Denver Broncos here. I'm not betting on the Broncos as much as I am betting on the Jets self-destructing. So, I know you don't talk other sports, but I'm in a good mood because my Astros swept the Twins and the Yankees are losing at the moment. Give me a good night's rest after being this. Hey, Alex, no, I, you know what? I didn't even know the NBA finals were on until I was leaving work. And I didn't even know that the NBA finals were going on until I was leaving work. My buddy's like, you watching the finals? And he's like, really, me and him were pretty close. I was like, no, man, I'm doing my show, but he's a basketball coach. So I was like, hey, that's fine. Yeah. And hey, listen, this is part of the reason why I encourage people to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channels, because I want us to communicate. I want us to go ahead and help each other out. Yeah, you're 100% right. Right now, I'm on my bookie. What it is I have a pretty decent monitor. It's not the best in the world, but it's 34-inch monitor. It's actually better than the 2 monitors I use at my job. And so I have 2 Google Chrome windows, one on each side. I look, if you see me looking over this way, because this is the one I have it on, and then I have my other stuff over here. But I have my bookie on the other side, and my bookie has the Bears money line at plus 115. So yeah. and bet online. Like I said, I don't like online betting. I would rather bet at a casino, but a lot of you are in situations where you can't go to the casino. So it's kind of good that we're starting this conversation. I'm going to get back to you, Mike, as far as a credit card fee, because one thing I will say I do like about my bookie is that when you contact them through the chat feature, you get somebody, and it's always been pretty good. It's always the customer service is really good. I have to give them an A+ on that. But I have to admit, when I made the $300 deposit with my checking account, I didn't realize I was going to get 5%. Plus, I got some weird $1.13 charge on top of the 5%. So my $300 deposit cost me $316.13. But today, my bank nullified it. It's just totally off the books. And as far as I know, nothing's wrong with my bookie. Tomorrow, I'm expecting the funds to be back out of my checking account. I'll keep you guys updated. If I'm right, Jimmy, you're the one who recommended Bitcoin. I set up a Bitcoin wallet. I actually bought a little bit of a Bitcoin just when I started doing research on it. 3 years ago, it was like 4,500. Now it's almost 11,000. I'm like, just simple math. That's more than double. So I was like, I'll buy a little bit of Bitcoin. When I withdraw from my bookie, if I'm lucky enough to do that, they also have stipulations like you have to bet so much before you can set up a withdrawal. So you got to read fine print. But I will get back to you on the credit card. I'll find out. But I would prefer to bet at a casino. But the way things are and the way times are, I understand. So yeah. And that's the thing. You always want to do some research, try to figure out things. So, yes, Thomas is out, but he is practicing, and that's a big deal for the Saints. I'll be honest. I expect the Saints to beat the Lions, but I really am very impressed with the Lions finally adapting to playing a zone defense, finally using the personnel correctly, clock management. You remember, Funk. You remember if they manage the clock better, they beat the Chiefs. They actually probably win about 3 or 4 games last year if they just simply managed the clock better. So using the clock properly, plus changing up the defense a little bit. Is it enough for Patricia to keep his job? It actually might be. I think 7 or 8 wins might be enough, but I still would bet on Patricia being out. Here's the deal. He's not going to lose his job regardless of what happens, unless they lose 75 the -3. They're not. He's not going to lose his job after the Saints game. I actually think this is going to be a fun game. I expect the Saints to win. I wouldn't bet on the Saints right now. And I got action on the Saints over 10.5 wins. So of course I'm cheering for the Saints, but you know me, I am pulling for the Lions. I'm pulling more from my checkbook. So a little back and forth here. These are a couple of my buddies here. Thanks, by the way, Scott and Mike, for showing me some love and support. I really appreciate it. But yeah, the casino's always the way to go. But the way things are and the way times are, doing some betting online and finding some deals. My bookie has like a free play bonus and a crypto award and some other things. I'll find out about the credit card for you. But I always recommend gambling at a casino. I'm old school like that. And I think I'm always going to enjoy the casinos more, but sports betting's not legal in every state, and what things are the way they are. Doing some betting online, you have to do some research. The more sites that you can get involved with, the more bonuses you can get. The one thing I'll tell you is that when I withdraw my funds, I'm definitely withdrawing using Bitcoin. I know with my bookie, if you withdraw cash, there is a fee. So, yeah, and you know what? The casinos are open in the Kansas City area, but I don't know about the poker room. I have no clue about the poker room. So, well, let me ask you something, Funk. What's the magic number of wins for Patricia to keep this job? I think it's 7. I think if they are 6-10 or 6 or under 6, then I think he's gone. I think he's gone if it's 6. And the reason why is that after 3 seasons, he'd have 15 wins. And I think that if you, after 3 seasons, if you're 15, it would be technically 15, 32 and 1. But if you have double the amount of losses than you do wins after 3 years, I think you got to go. So, I mean, let me ask you, I mean, this is a serious question. What's the number of wins Patricia needs to get to? I think it's 7. I think 7. Anything under 7, I think he's gone. And I'm going to stand by it. I think he's going to be gone. Great win. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to feel good. And I want you to feel good regardless of what happens unless you lose 75 to the -3. The Saints are a good team. Saints are a good team. So. And this is this is kind of betting 101, and I need to do another video just about sports betting in general because I for those of you who don't know, I was a blackjack dealer for years, and it's not like you see in the movies, and it's not like in the commercials. About 90% of the people that come into the casino are on welfare, Social Security, disability, unemployment. They're people that have no business being in a casino. And I wish the government would have put regulations down. I wish the government would say, hey, look, if my tax dollars are giving you your paycheck, you can't spend it at a casino. But I think 75% of the casinos would shut down. That's kind of a different story. But people that, for lack of a better word, the majority of people that go into a casino are people that really can't afford it. This blew my mind. This is true. More people, the average bet on a penny slot is higher than the average bet on a quarter slot. It's funny because I had an old girlfriend. She was an ex-stripper, just I wouldn't date her for her brains. Anyway, it was funny because she's like, I can't pay the quarter slots, are too expensive, but she would do 100 to 200 pennies, with no problem at all. She was hooked on those penny slots, but she wouldn't pay the quarter slots, even though she couldn't figure out that 200 cents is less than 25. But again, I wasn't dating her for her brains. But yeah, I want to do a lot more of gambling 101 because if you're disciplined and you're not betting what you can't afford to lose, you can make a profit. I've consistently made a profit. I feel that at the end of the year, I'll be overall ahead. Right now I'm down. And then with my bookie, when am I able to withdraw and win? We'll have to figure it out. I'll have to figure it out, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I'm going to let you know. I mean, right now in Iowa, I'm down. I think it's exactly 377. What is it? Hold on, I got it right. I'm sorry, 377.30. But I have $1,000 on over-unders for the year, which right now I'm looking really good, even though the Saints are 1-2 and Houston's 0-3. I feel really good about the Patriots and the Seahawks. That would get me ahead, which would get me off the head roughly a push for the year. So now keep in mind with the amount that I'm going to bet on Thursday Night Football. And I also have $100 on another game, which I haven't told you about yet. I have $100 on another game. So, all right. That's wow. I didn't know that about Morgan. Morgan's my old girlfriend. You didn't know what about my old girlfriend? Oh God, here he is. I'm talking football. He wants to talk about my ex-girlfriend, but that's fine. I have no idea what you're talking about, Scott. That's okay. The Saints don't look like they have it right now. They're just off. Maybe Tampa has a better chance to win the division. No, Alex, you know what? And Mike is 100% correct because he's been on the Bucs bandwagon. He's been telling me, Dan, you're sleeping too much on them. And that's the whole thing. I've been really like, this is a 9-7 team. Brady's not really going to fit in as well. And then they go ahead and got Fournette. And I'm like, wait a minute. They have Fournette. Wow, this could work because Fournette is exactly what a Bruce Arians offense needs. So, yeah. But here's the deal. Michael Thomas is going to come back. The Saints will bounce back, but are they going to be a 13-win team? Or are they going to be an 11-win team? Or are they going to be a 9-win team? Keep in mind, they've done this before where they lose a game early and then just go on a tear. I still think the Saints overall have a lot of talent. It was a rough loss last night, but they bounced back against the Saints at 2-2. Or I'm sorry, against the Lions, and they go 2-2, and then you get Michael Thomas back. Watch out. The defense needs to improve. I'm really surprised the defense is not playing as well. The Bucs look good right now. The Bucs look good. So anyway, Scott, I have no idea what they're doing. Certainly explains why she has a penchant for clear. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I'll go in a little detail. Buffa, I'll bring this here. I have no idea what Buffa's talking. My ex-girlfriend absolutely loved Mike Buffa. She raved about him all the time because he sang to her, and she sang in church choir, so she raved about him. She loved him, and they're talking about it for some weird reason. Alex says, Mike, I originally thought the Saints would take it, but Tampa. No, Alex, I want right now. I 100% agree. Keep in mind, Tampa Bay's 2-1. The Saints are 1-2. The Saints are without their best player, which is still Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, when he comes back, is really going to change the team, but that defense has got to play better. And that's the one thing about Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has a really good defense, and they have some youth in that secondary, which by the way, Antoine Winfield is playing at lights out level. I loved him. I absolutely loved this kid. They got him in the second round. Kansas City could have taken him in late in the first round, or actually I thought San Francisco had actually been a better fit. And he would have been a great fit. They got him in the second round. He's playing out lights out level. There's a lot of youth in that secondary. The front seven's solid. Devin White and Levante David are really, really, really good linebackers. Shaq Barrett, one of the NFL's best pass rushers. I remember they had him on the bench in Denver, and I was like, that guy is good. I love Fournette. The offensive line's getting better. There's a lot of things to like about Tampa Bay. I don't see it. Mike's saying Tampa's expect. I know they expect a Super Bowl. The one thing about the NFC is I really think the NFC is still wide open, even though Seattle looks really good, Green Bay looks really good. I think the NFC is still wide open. There's not a clear-cut best team in the NFC, but Tampa, when they get in the playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous out because you have Brady. If Fournette is healthy, that's going to be very, very dangerous. Keep in mind, Fournette's always had injury issues, even in college. So the Texans, Alex says the Texans hurt me. We're under the notion they're signing Earl Thomas. Hope doesn't. Okay, here's the thing. With Earl Thomas, he's not the same player. If you're getting Earl Thomas, I think will eventually be in a Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest players of all time. He's not the same player. Signing Earl Thomas is not that big of a deal. It's not that big of an issue. I think he will sign with a team. Don't get me wrong. I think he will sign with the team, but you're not adding a Hall of Fame caliber player. You would be signing a guy who's over 30, whose best years are behind him, who had problems in Seattle and Baltimore, All right. He had problems with two of the best run organizations, and no disrespect to the Houston Texans, they're not as well run as either Baltimore or Seattle. And that's the thing. Can Bill O'Brien handle going 0-3 plus bringing in a volatile force into that locker room? I don't think Earl Thomas in Houston's a good fit. I was interested if they would sign him, but I think it's kind of smart that they avoided that. Keep in mind, they already had the three toughest games on their schedule. Now they're playing a team that had to be sent home and didn't even have practice, and they still have to travel to Houston to play at the same scheduled time. So it's a big advantage for Houston. Houston needs to win. They need to win. Trust me, next week when we're talking, if they're 1-3, we're going to be fine. So Tampa Bay will host, but not play in it. No, I don't see it, but the NFC is wide open. The NFC is wide open, and you could say this with every team, but the health is really, really key for Tampa Bay, because keep in mind, you take Brady out, you take Fournette out, and keep in mind that Godwin and Evans are probably, you could argue Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. Is it Calvin or Stephen Ridley? I always get too mixed up. I think it's Calvin. You want to argue those two? Yeah, I'd hear that. But bottom line, if you have a healthy Brady and you have a healthy Fournette, and that defense is still playing at a high level, that's going to be a dangerous team that's going to be a team you don't want to play in the playoffs. It's going to be a team you don't want to play in the playoffs. But I don't see them as a Super Bowl team. I know people in Tampa Bay, and Mike lives in Florida. I'm sorry, Mike. I hopefully that's okay that say that you live in Florida, but I know Tampa Bay's expecting a Super Bowl. I don't see it, but if I'm a team playing Tampa Bay in the playoffs, I'm scared. Earl Thomas from the rumors of the malcontent. No, Mike, you nailed it. You nailed it. And he said, you had problems in Seattle and Baltimore, two of the best run organizations in the NFL. You cannot name two better run organizations in the NFL. If you want to say New England, I'd hear that. If you want to say Kansas City, sure. If Kansas City and New England are better run than Seattle and Baltimore, I don't know. But Pete Carroll and John Harbaugh are players' coaches, and they gave Earl Thomas a lot of chances. So no, he will be signed. Okay, he will be signed. There's going to be players. Players are getting hurt at a very high rate. A player's going to get hurt. He's going to go to a team. He's going to try to, say and do all the right things so he can get another contract. And can he still play in the NFL? Yes, but you're not getting Hall of Fame caliber Earl Thomas. You're just getting an average player at this point in time. But I think he will be signed. I think it's a good move that Houston didn't sign him, because I think Houston just needs to win a few games. And matter of fact, let's do this here. Here's the Houston Texans schedule. You get back-to-back home games against winnable teams. You got the Vikings. You should win that game. Okay. Then you got the Jaguars. That's another win. At Tennessee, that's going to be a fun game. At Tennessee, that's going to be a fun game. A home game against the Packers. Then 2 winnable road games. At Jacksonville, at Cleveland. You can win both those games. Then you got New England, at Detroit, and then Colts, at Bears, at Colts, Bengals, and Titans. So you can definitely get the 8, which we need to do, because I got money on it. So listen, man. Yeah, Mike, you've been on board. By the way, listen, if you haven't done it yet, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe it, because there's a lot of good interaction here. This is never going to be a channel where whatever I say goes. I'm never going to be like that. I am giving you the Thursday night winner. I'm telling you right now, I really, really like I really, really like the Denver Broncos. I'm not betting on the Broncos as much as I'm betting on the Jets self-destructing. It seems to be a trend. You always have a team that has higher expectations, that look better early in the season. They're just falling apart. Keep in mind, this happened with the Redskins last year. Remember, it's happened with the Redskins last year. It was after week 4 or week 5. I think it was after week 4 Gruden was fired. Yeah, they and then they won week 5 against the Dolphins. So yeah, give me the thumbs up, Scott. Thank you for the thumbs up, brother. Okay, listen, I am going to go ahead and end the show. Pete, or I'm sorry, Mike. I'm going to get on my bookie. I'm going to shoot you an email about the credit card costs. Hopefully, if you do decide to do it, please let me know. If you haven't already, I know Jimmy's already done it. I've done it. If you haven't, by the way, this is the email address. If you are putting action on the Broncos, please shoot me an email. Let me know. Also, you can follow me on social media. If you're on YouTube, I didn't put it in the description, but after the show ends, I'll drop it in the description. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I need to become more active in Instagram. That's something I've been consciously trying to work on, but my social media is mostly, I'd say about 90% related to the show. I have some other stuff on there, but you can follow me on social media, communicate with me. Some of you got my number. You can always email me. I'll do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible. And Alex, this is why I put action on the Texans to win over 7.5 games, is because they're still a team I think that can make the playoffs. They're still a team that can make the playoffs. So yeah, Alex, I'm with you 100%, and I'm cheering for you too. And hopefully you'll be there Friday. So listen, I'm going to end the show. Thank you so much for your comments. I really appreciate this. I can't tell you how much I look forward to this. I look forward to talking football. You guys have a bunch of great comments. You got a lot of smart comments. I'm also really excited that at least one of you in Jimmy likes my Denver pick. I'm really looking forward to doing some trash talking. I'm really looking forward to doing some trash talking on Friday, telling more of you guys. But hey, if I lose, I go ahead and I own up to it. Share channel to your social media. It should be. Hey, it should be, because every social media that I'm linked to has it. I'm going to put all the links in the description below. That way you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever your favorite social media platform is. I try to be a little more, right now I'm leaning more towards Facebook. I'm kind of old school. I'm not a huge fan of social media. On Twitter, I've had to unfollow and mute a lot of people, but I still get a lot of neat information from Twitter. I try to follow more NFL personnel and players, even though you don't really get a lot from the players. And then I do use Facebook quite a bit, but I'll put the description, all the links below. That way you can kind of follow me. And I very rarely, but occasionally post some personal stuff. So, hey, listen, have a great night. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. I'll see you guys Friday.